Benedetta Bianchi Porro was a young medical student who stood firm in her faith as she endured blindness, deafness, and paralysis. She was born in 1936 in Italy and baptized with water from Lourdes. When she was only 3 months old, she was stricken with polio. Her illness required her to wear a brace on her left leg, and she also suffered from bronchitis repeatedly as a baby. As a child, she was often ridiculed by others because of her health problems, and her brother even got into a fight with a boy one day because the boy had called Benedetta a cripple. Despite her sufferings, though, she maintained a positive attitude. In her childhood journal, she wrote, "The universe is enchanting. It is great to be alive." When she was 13, she began to lose her hearing. She also began to have trouble walking, and she started using a cane. She felt really called to pursue a career in medicine, but a lot of teachers at the time were opposed to having a deaf student. She proved them all wrong, though, and proved to be quite brilliant. She completed examinations in biochemistry, microbiology, and human anatomy, and she also studied clinical medicine and pathology. Unfortunately, as her studies progressed, so did her illness, and she was soon admitted into a nursing home because of problems she was having with her femur. By the time she was 21, her studies had given her the ability to diagnose herself with von Recklinghausen syndrome. She realized that she would eventually become blind and deaf. Sadly, her illness required her to withdraw from medical school, and she was confined to her home. She had a lot of visitors, friends and family, and spent a lot of time on the phone, evangelizing others and spreading the word of God. She was always quick to discuss her faith and love of God with her friends. A series of surgeries could not provide her any relief. An operation in 1958 paralyzed the left side of her face, and a 1959 operation left her unable to walk and confined to a wheelchair. In 1963, she underwent a series of surgeries that left her totally blind, deaf, and mostly paralyzed. She was only able to move her right hand. She undertook a pilgrimage to Lourdes in 1964, but did not see any improvement in her condition after the pilgrimage. She said, "Sometimes I find myself defeated under the weight of this heavy cross. Then I call upon Jesus and lovingly cast myself at his feet. He kindly permits me to rest my head in his lap." Word of her suffering and holiness began to spread, though, and she received many visitors at this time, even though she was dealing with all of this. Her mother communicated with her by writing letters on Benedetta's palm. On the night of January 22nd, 1964, she had a premonition of her death, and she received communion and confession the next morning, but died soon after. She was 27 years old. She was beatified in 2019 and is remembered for her life of heroic virtue in the face of much suffering. Before her death, she said in a letter, "In my Calvary, I do not lack hope. I know that at the end of the road, Jesus is waiting for me. First in my armchair and now in my bed where I now stay, I have found a wisdom greater than that of men. I have discovered that God exists, that he is love, faithfulness, joy, certitude, to the end of ages." I find her story very inspiring just because of the sheer amount of pain and trials she had to go through, and yet she still focused on spreading the word of God. I think she's a great example for us today, and I loved learning about her.